All right, it's the first tourney game the Aztecs are going to play in since 2015 after winning over the weekend the Mountain West Conference Tournament. And joining us now on the phone, we've come to really like this guy. It's been a lot of fun watching this team grow. It's Aztecs men's basketball coach Brian Dutcher. Coach, how are you this morning?
Doing really good, guys. Had a great weekend, as everybody would know, and celebrated it a little bit, but now getting back to work and getting ready for a very good Houston team on Thursday.
All right, I know you shake off the celebration mode pretty quickly, but can you take us back to Las Vegas in that feeling when you knew you captured a berth into the tourney?
It wasn't until the very last 2 or 3 seconds of the game, so it was hard fought. You know, a lot of work goes into that. 3 games in 3 days. You know, I just remember after we beat Nevada, the coaching staff up working, probably got about 2 or 3 hours sleep, prepped for the New Mexico game that morning for about an hour and a half in a ballroom, and then went out and played a really good New Mexico team in a hard-fought conference championship game.
Dutcher's a really great photo of you at the top of that ladder, holding up the net in the air that you just cut down. Can you give us any indication, if you can remember, what was going through your mind at that time?
You know, just happy for my seniors. That's mostly what I was thinking about, you know, that they had been there as freshmen. Malik and Trey, obviously Cameron had been there at Cal, and that I didn't want them to go out without another NCAA tournament berth. And everybody talking about, well, they went their freshman year and they really hadn't accomplished much since then, and they were way too good of players and people to not have another opportunity to go back to the big dance in their final year.
Coach, a lot of credit to you and the coaching staff for holding this team together. It seemed like there was some tumultuous times throughout the season. Was there ever a moment, a tipping moment, where you go, we've got to win this one, otherwise this season could unravel on us?
You know, not really. I've said in the past, I'm a positive person. Glass is always half full. And so I'd look at games we were losing and say, wow, we played really good for 30 minutes, but we got to play 40. Or we played good for 35. We got to put 40 minutes together. We've got a good team. And so never really the sense that we don't have enough talent to win. I knew we had the talent to win. We just had to play more consistently for longer periods of time. So no real tipping point. Just I felt good when Trey came back. That's where the winning streak started. He came back, and once he came back in the starting lineup, we went on a 9-game win streak.
The Aztecs are an 11 seed. They'll take on a 6 seed, University of Houston, 4:20 p.m. Thursday right here on Xtra 1360. We'll talk to Dutch about Houston in a moment. Dutch, it was a 12-4 run, and it's amazing how similar your season has been with New Mexico. You'd won 8 straight. They'd won 7 straight heading into that game, but they can shoot lights out if they get going. 12-4, they open the game. Media timeout. What happens in that media timeout where you then go on a 7-0 run to take the lead 13-12, and it showed us this game was not going to go New Mexico's way, perhaps like it looked?
Yeah, we knew that's how they played. They're capable of it. They wear you down. They play numbers. They press the whole game, and they just figure at that pace, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, they'll have worn you down, and they're going to spurt at the end and beat us. And we were able to play our bench, which we developed over the year, kept fresh bodies on the floor at all times. And so the last 4 or 5 minutes, we were able to put the final spurt on to kind of get the win ourselves. So 2 really hot teams, 2 really good teams, and we feel very fortunate to come on top.
I felt like you grabbed back the momentum coming out of that media timeout with the alley-oop to Malik Pope. Was that a drawn-up play at the timeout?
I'm trying to think which one it was. 3 games in 3 days.
Well, it was 12-4 New Mexico, and it was the first bucket scored with the alley-oop. There was a great Aztec turnout there, and it got the crowd involved. It made it feel a little bit like a home game. Devin Watson hit a 3 right after it, and it completely changed the momentum.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have players capable of making those plays. That's the beauty of it. You know, Malik had a really good game against a team that, you know, doesn't let it in the post a lot. And then Devin Watson obviously got hot from 3, starting with the Nevada game and then carrying it over into New Mexico with shooting streak.
Brian Dutcher on Xtra 1360 and FM 103.3. You talked about the depth of that bench. My goodness, it seems like every game you've got no idea who it's going to be, or we, I guess, as fans have no idea who's going to have that performance. And, of course, you'd like to lean on Trey and you like to lean on Malik, but then it's Devin Watson and it was Max Montana kind of out of nowhere late Saturday in the contest. Do you get these feelings coming into a game of who's going to get hot, or do you see it in the pregame? How's that all work out? Because you seem to be pushing the right buttons.
Obviously we've been playing Max and Jordan Shackle off the bench a lot. Jeremy Hemsley, obviously, a lot off the bench. But Cameron Rooks is the one that's kind of reestablished his minutes, and a lot of it's due to his senior night performance. He came in senior night, played magnificently. Nolan Narain had been playing great up until that point, but Cam played so well that we continued him on his role, and he's the one that's probably got the most minutes in the Mountain West tournament. Surprisingly, for where he was to where he is now, and huge minutes for us, especially at the defensive end. He made his free throws, he rebounded the ball, and so Cameron was really valuable down the stretch.
Dutch, what have your conversations been like with Steve Fisher since you won it?
Coach is just so happy for the program, happy for me, happy for the team. These are all kids that came here to play for Steve Fisher and Brian Dutcher. So to have him in the locker room after the game, being a part of that celebration was just magical, and I think he just sits back from afar like a father would, looking at his son, looking at his program, and just happy for all of us.
Coach, can you tell us about Houston? Can you teach us a little bit about their game? Because I haven't seen any of it, and I'm sure you've watched a little bit of film now getting ready. What are they all about?
They've got a great coach in Calvin Sampson. He's been doing this a long time at Washington State, at Indiana, assistant with the Houston Rockets, and now with the Houston team. And they're tough. They reflect him. He's got a level of toughness about him. That's how they play. They're physical. They're not real tall, but they're real wide. So they're all strong, physical kids. They battled Cincinnati in their conference championship game to a final possession type of a situation where they turned it over the last possession of the game with a chance to win the conference title. So they're on a hot streak with that game not included, and obviously playing really good basketball.
Dutch, what do you think has improved most, speaking of toughness, mental toughness or physical toughness in your team?
Well, I put up at the Wooden Legacy because the speaker at that event way back at the start of the year said the toughest team will win this tournament. And so I brought it full circle. I put up on the Mountain West locker room board, I put the mentally toughest team will win this tournament. So we went from the start of the year just the toughest, because I'm sure the kids thought it was physical, but it's this time of the year it's the mentally toughest team that will win. And so we'll try to take that level of mental toughness into the NCAA tournament. We're confident, and we've got to be mentally tough, and we'll have a chance to go win 2 games in this first round.
And it's been fun watching the guys. You can almost see that mental toughness. You could see Trey Kell catch a little bit of an injury in that New Mexico game and kind of bite down, and you could see the look on Malik Pope's face. It's almost steely. Have you noticed a change in the mentality of the team?
I think they're just playing better together. I think they were always mentally tough, but I think down the stretch run they've taken it one more level up. And I think it's just having a feel for one another and knowing that winning's the most important thing. It's not your minutes, it's not your shot. It's doing whatever required to win that game. And I think that's the final step this team has taken, and they're so motivated to win more than their own stats that's taken us to this next level.
Dutch, what was the decision to stick with Hemsley and Montana at the very end of the game with Pope and McDaniels on the bench?
Well, Jalen had played a magnificent tournament, but was not having a Jalen McDaniels kind of game against New Mexico. He made some plays, but not the plays he was making against the other 2 opponents. And I just felt Max's shooting ability, the way that we were setting high ball screens, that's really all we did the whole second half, were those high ball screens letting our guards attack, that we could stretch the defense more with one more shooter on the floor. And Max obviously rewarded the Aztecs with a big corner 3 fouled 4-point play at crunch time. And then Jeremy's just so nails defensively that I thought his quickness and athleticism defending their guards was going to be important down the stretch, and he proved me right. And then he made a huge 3 also in our big run. So I was rewarded by both my reserves off the bench with timely plays and important plays.
Coach, we want to congratulate you. It was a lot of fun. You brought a lot of energy to the city of San Diego. Best of luck coming up against Houston. And as always, we thank you for being so gracious with your time. We know you had a really busy weekend, but you gave us some time on Friday. So thank you very much and best of luck. It's been a lot of fun to watch you.
Thanks for having me, guys, and let's go Aztecs.
All right.